Okay guys, so we're going to just do a quick revision on first year melody writing. Okay, so this is going to be the exact question you get on your exam. So everything that you see on this piece of paper right now will be the start of your exam. So you get your you see here your treble clef is written, your time signature is 4/4. You get the first note of the melody, and you get what chords go in each bar, so you can see those here, 1 4 5 1. You get the Roman numerals in your chord bank and the first note of the chord bank, which is C, because we have no sharps or flats in the key signature. Okay, you're also given the last note as well, so you have to compose for these 3 bars. Okay, so remember that each bar should equal 4. Okay, so we should have 4 beats in every single one of these bars. In this one here, we already have 4 beats because we have a semi-breve and that has 4 beats. And in our first bar here, we have 1 crotchet, which is equal to 1 beat. So we have 3 more crotchets to put in here. Okay, so if we remind ourselves then that a crotchet equals 1 beat, okay, a minim equals 2 beats, all right, and a semi-breve equals 4. Okay, if you feel confident enough to use quavers, yes you can, but just be very careful with them. If you don't know how to use them, just leave them out and stick to the crotchets and the minims. Okay, so what's the first thing we do then once we get to here? So the first thing we need to do is fill in our chord bank. All right, now there are a few different ways that you have decided that it's easiest for you, but remember I use the 5 fingers, so we start with C, D, E, F and G. Alright, so we've labelled our fingers, so we know that the thumb is C, then we go on to the middle finger, which is E, and then we have our baby finger, which is G. So C, D, E, F, G. So C, E and G, and that becomes the first part of. I'm going to have to move this page just a little bit, sorry, the camera is in the way. So that becomes our first chord. So we have C, E and G there, okay? Now, what I found was easiest was that we run the musical alphabet. So remember, the musical alphabet goes to A to G, and once you get to G, oh, have we gone out of focus? Alright, sorry guys, we went out of focus there. So our musical alphabet goes from A to G. So if we go A, B, C, then we go D, E, F, G, A, B, and back to C. Alright, so there's our first line of the chord bank. So we can do the same thing again. We can go D, E, F, G, A. So we got D, F, and A, so we can do it that way for each of the chords, or we can run the musical alphabet horizontally as well. So we've got E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E, and then if we start up here on G, we've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So now we've got our chord bank complete. I can't stress how important the chord bank is. You know, as I said before, if we're going to be composing music, even as extracurricular activities, you need to know how the basic structures work for chords. Okay, so we have our chord bank done. The next thing that I would do is just remind yourself which chord you're going to be using. So you know in the first bar that you are going to be using the chord of 1. So we go down here to the chord of 1 and we see that we're using the notes C, E and G. So I would just put a little reminder underneath that chord just to remind myself that I'm using these notes C, E, G. Alright? In the chord of 4, so if I go to the chord of 4 here, I have the notes F, A and C. So I'm just going to put a little reminder in there for me that they're the notes that I'm using, F, A and C. Alright, in bar 3 we're going to use the chord of 5. So here we have 5 here and we've got G, B, D. Okay, so I'm using these notes. And then back to the chord of 1, and I have finished off on my note here on C. Okay, so now it's down to the actual composing of the melody. Alright, just move the camera here a little bit again. So I'm going to use my notes, I'm going to use my notes C, E and G. Alright, so I already have one C and I know that I need 3 more beats in this first bar. So I'm going to repeat C again. Alright, and then I'm going to go down to G. So I'm using crotchets for each of these, and you can see when I'm using a note on the line, I make sure the middle of the line goes through the note, and when it's in the space, I make sure I fill up the whole space before I bring down the stem. So I have C, C, G, and then I'm going to put an E here. Okay? And that's my first bar completed. Now you can put these notes in any order and you can repeat any note that you want within this bar. So it's completely up to you what way you compose your melody. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next bar, which is all based around the chord 4, which has the notes F, A, C. So again, if we look down to our chord bank, we go to the chord of 4 and we see the notes F, A, C. So we know that that's the one that we want to use. Alright, so looking at my previous bar, my last note is E. Alright, and if I look here, I want to try and make my melody as smooth as possible. So where possible, try and keep the notes when they cross the bar close together. So I know that F is very close to E. So my first note is going to be F. Alright, okay, and just bring that up, make that a little bit bigger. So F. Alright, then my next note is going to be A. And I might pick another C and then go back to A. Okay, so again, I've used 4 beats in this bar, but you could use 2 minims or 2 crotchets and then a minim if you wanted to. So it's completely up to you what rhythm that you give this melody. Alright, once you're using these notes, it will be fully correct, okay? So I have my second bar filled in. So now we're moving on to our third bar, which is the chord of 5. And we look back down here and we've reminded ourselves that we're using these notes in this chord, G, B, D. Alright, so again, crossing over the border or over the bar line, we want to see a note. So we could go for either G or B. Alright, so we took a step up this time, so we might take a step down. So we're going to go G. Alright, then I'm going to go to D. Alright, so this D, how I figure out this one is just below the stave. So some people might say, oh, I don't know what that note is. So if we know that this first line here is every, so every good boy deserves fruit. Okay, we go to the musical alphabet, and if we want to figure out the note that's just before E, A, B, C, D. So D is before E, so we know that this note is D. Okay, if you didn't want to use this D and wanted to use the D on the 4th line, that would be okay as well. Alright, I'm going to jump back up to G, and then I'm going to use B. Okay, and there is my melody completed. Alright, so I have 4 bars, each bar has 4 beats in it, and I've only used the notes within each chord. So again, the chord of 1, C, E, G. The chord of 4, we go down to the chord of 4, F, A, C. The chord of 5, here we are, G, B, D. And our last note, which will be given to us on the day of the exam, is C. Okay? I hope you found this video really useful. If you have any questions, you can ask me on Edmodo, or post a comment below, or send me an email, or talk to me tomorrow in class. Alright? Hope you have a good night. Thanks now. Bye-bye.